Good evening and welcome out everyone to tonight's tackle trading onboarding webinar. This is Coach Frank. I'll be taking you through tackle trading here this evening, showing you around a little bit, hopefully letting you get to know us, kind of what we're doing, when we're doing it, where you can find it, all of that fun stuff. I hope you're having a great Monday. And wow, it always is Monday. It always seems like it's Monday night to me. So Mondays and Fridays, it seems like everything else is kind of just a day in between. Let's go ahead and get started here this evening. I always break this down into three components, things that you can do on your own. That's going to be things like courses, blogs, some of the different tools that we have built into tackle trading, things that you can do with others. That's our live content that we're doing each market day, and our weekend reports. Each weekend, we issue our tackle newsletter, our stock, option, commodity, and Forex report. We'll kind of hit all of those, but that'll kind of be the angle that we come at it here this evening. Before I jump into that, though, really quick, I would like to highlight the Huddle podcast. I've got that opened up here, but if you smack the Huddle right here, it'll take you directly to the Huddle for tackle trading. This is a short podcast each market day, 10 minutes, 10 minutes or under, just talking about the top 5 stories of the day. Just a very easy way to kind of stay on top of that news in a fast, efficient manner. That'll be each market morning. That's the Huddle. It's available on all of your favorite podcast providers. But if you're like me and don't have a favorite podcast provider because you don't do the podcasting, you can listen to it directly here on the Huddle. It's a great way to kind of make sure you're on top of the big news of the day. And some people, for me, I'm not a big newsy. I don't really like, I'm a chart guy, and so I really find it helpful to have somebody else going through the top stories of the day and getting me that info, so I can spend more time doing what I love, which is looking at charts. With all of that said, that is the Huddle each and every market morning. Definitely a fun listen. And again, you can find that on all of your favorite podcast providers or directly here, smacking that Huddle link here on tackletrading.com. With that all out of the way, let's dive right into it. Let's start with the first area, things that you can do on your own. We'll start off with the courses here because that's what would come to my mind for when I'm thinking about this stuff. We have our 7-step guide to trading. This is a course that will really it's like a get to know the tackle way. As you can imagine, there's a lot of us here at Tackle Trading, and no two traders are really the same. But from a philosophical point of view, I think our community, we kind of share a general way to approach the market, from taking that top-down analysis approach to the market, finding strategies to match the read of the situation, whether it's an individual, stock or commodity or an entire, sector, or even a market as a whole, how we find our trades. We're big watch list traders, planning and prepping that trade, obviously placing and managing it as well, of course, journaling it. This will really help you get to know the tackle trading way, if you will. It will also probably give you some ideas that maybe can make your daily routine a little bit more efficient, particularly if you're a new trader and don't really have a solidified daily routine. Can get some really good ideas in there, I would say. You'll find our Technical Analysis 101 course. As traders, charts are our friends, right? We look at lots and lots of charts. And no matter what kind of traders we are, whether we're option traders, crypto traders, Forex traders, swing traders, cash flow traders, you name it, no matter what we are, we're all looking at charts. We might be looking at different time frames, but we're definitely all looking at charts. So the more we understand technical analysis, I think the better our life is going to be. It's always a good place to start if you're newer to the market, because it does apply to any vehicle, stock, options, commodity, cryptos, whatever. It applies to any vehicle. We also have an Options 101 course that will really dive into what's going on when you buy or sell that call option. When you first get into options, you kind of learn how to buy a call. Usually that's kind of the normal way it starts, at least for maybe most people. We really need to understand, though, what's going on. Options are a lot different than stock in the sense that they've got factors that are impacting their value outside of just the daily price of the stock, right? The stock is worth $21. It's worth $21. We know exactly what that means. If it goes up $1 tomorrow, it's now $22. We made $1 a share, right? That's how it always works with options. there's time decay, there's volatility, there's, different, movement based on the delta of the contract. So we really do need to understand these option Greeks and why the option moves the way it moves. And I personally am a big believer in, if you truly understand why an option's doing the thing it's doing, then the strategies are going to be a lot easier to master. So that's our Options 101 course. If you've ever been interested in learning more about either the futures market, hanging out trading, the S&P futures, or trading crude oil, or, silver, or whatever it might be, or the currencies market, trading the over in the currency market, we do have courses to get you started in those areas as well. They're, in a lot of ways, they're very similar to the stock market. In other ways, they're very different. And we just need to know what that is, right? And so, a lot of people can be a little intimidated by learning those markets, and that's okay if you don't want to learn them. But I don't think you need to be intimidated if that's an area that's caught your attention, you just didn't know where to start. This can be a great place to get you started in either the forex or the futures market. You'll find a system development course in here, no matter what you're trading and what your time frame is. Maybe you're a day trader, maybe you're a swing trader, maybe you're this, that, or the other. It's imperative that we have clearly defined systems and rules to govern our actions, right? We can't, and I think we all get that. I don't think anyone would disagree with needing to have clarity in what we do, when we do it, how we do it. But it's one thing to say it, another thing to do it. For many of us, I was certainly this way. Uh, I said I was a big fan of trading rules, but I didn't act that way when I was a new trader. I just kind of bought stuff. So I'm probably not the first person to do that. Won't be the last either. But this system development course is really designed to help train you to think like a systems builder when it comes to your trading. The nice thing is I believe, at least, it's a lot like a switch in your brain. Once it's flipped, it's just flipped, and you just think like a systems builder in trading. So it's one of those type of things. I think you couldn't turn it off even if you wanted to, which I don't think you'd want to. So that's our system development course. You'll also notice there are a handful of premium systems. These are going to be the only thing that aren't available to everyone as a pro member here at Tackle Trading. These are individual systems. They're a one-time purchase. The system is yours for life. Once a month, we get together with members of that systems team in a mastermind group, just very quickly, so you know what they are. And if you'd like any more information, you can head over into the store. You can send us an email to team at Tackle Trading. We'd be happy to get you some more info on that. The Tackle 25 is a covered call system on a select group of stocks that we put together each year with the idea specifically of selling covered calls against them. Our step system is our swing trading system, just standing for stop loss, target, entry, and position size. Cash flow condors is an iron condor cash flow system on the Russell 2000 index. And the bear market survival guide, protecting our longer term portfolio from bearish turns in the market, and then dealing with bearish market conditions when we are actually in a bearish market. If you want any more information, do feel free to reach out. Be happy to get you some more information on those. We won't get too hung up on them this evening. We do blog content fairly regularly as well, whether it's more charting over in the Tales of a Technician, more on options in the Option Theory blog, hearing from our tremendous female traders over in the Women in Trading blog, hanging out with Coach Old Money Holmes in the Rookie Corner and kind of taking concepts from the ground up and building them. These are just another way that we can kind of reach out and share ideas with members of our team. They're going to be relatively short reads. Obviously that'll probably depend on you, but 5-ish type of minute reads, I would probably say for maybe on average. Be on the lookout for those. That we'll be doing a lot of blog content each week for our team members here at Tackle Trading. Our clubhouse is kind of our own personal social media, for lack of a better way to explain it. That's where team members can get in and ask questions. Other members of the team, be it other coaches or just other members of our community, can share their thoughts with them. It's just another nice way to be able to reach out and connect with traders. If you have ideas you want to bounce around, if you have questions, if you're looking for something but don't know where to find it, I certainly invite everyone to join us over in our clubhouse. It's just us. It's just trading. Maybe not so much the main social media, pay, right? Twitter, Facebook, all sorts of stuff happens over there. And maybe you like it, maybe you don't. But over in the clubhouse, we just keep it trading. So certainly invite you to join us over there uh, as well. Our trade center, as you can kind of see here, is where you will find our events calendar. We'll come to that before the night is through. You'll find our trading glossary, our link to our trading journals, as well as our link to our tackle trading playbook. This is where we'll have all of our strategies and the rules for those strategies. We break our strategy selection into three core areas based on the option Greeks: Delta, Theta, and Vega. Delta is directionally based trading, right? So buying stock, that's a Delta trade. Buying a put option, that's a Delta trade. When you, at least with the playbook, when we're thinking Delta, we're thinking direction. We're thinking, I think the stock's going from point A to point B, right? So buying stock, buying options, doing debit spreads, diagonal spreads, those type of strategies. Theta is our cash flow, so that's where we're selling the options and taking advantage of the one guarantee that there is in trading, and that's that today is going to come and go. It will be 24 hours from now in 24 hours, and there's nothing any of us can do to stop it, right? Even though we probably wouldn't mind. So we're selling these options, bringing in that premium and benefiting from the very natural time decay that happens with every asset that's decaying, right? Options have a day where they are gone. They no longer exist. And because of that, they lose value to time each and every day. And our theta or our cash flow strategies is what we're doing to take advantage of that fact. That's going to be things like our covered calls, where I own 100 shares of company ABC and I'm selling a call option against it, naked put, credit spreads, iron condors, right? Those type of strategies. Then there's Vega or volatility. These are bidirectional trades where I expect big movement, or the market expects big movement and I think the market's wrong, but I don't have a side, right? Earnings season's always, earnings reports are always the thing that jumps out to me for volatility based strategies. Personally, I'm not a huge volatility trader, but earnings season is about, when my brain starts to think about those things where there's no way that I can know if company XYZ is going to have a good or a bad report, but I may, based on the history of that stock, believe it's going to move a lot one way or another and want to build a trade that reflects that, right? So that's going to be our volatility or our Vega based strategies. In each of these, there will be a video thoroughly going over the strategy, why we would choose the strategy, what our rules for the strategy are, all of that fun stuff. We will be using toss in there, so we'll be kind of showing you how to put in an example order in as well if you're also using the toss platform and need some help from that perspective. You'll also notice everything is going to be somewhere between a 0 and a plus or a -3, right? We kind of have that little sliding scale, right? 0 being flat neutral, right? 1 or -1 being slightly bullish or slightly bearish. 2 or -2 being, just normal, right? Just bullish or just bearish or moderate, however you want to word it. And then 3 or -3 being aggressively or very bullish or bearish. We always want to match the strategy to the situation, right? So if I love, company ABC and I expect it to move a lot, I want to make a trade that makes me more money the more it moves, right? I want to match that, my read of the situation, to the strategy. So I might buy a call option, for example. Whereas if my read is, I think this is going to keep grinding up or grinding down, but I don't think it's going to be particularly fast or volatile, I might want to do something a little bit more mild, right? I might want to maybe do a debit spread or something to that effect, maybe a diagonal spread. So we want to match the strategies to the situation. This 0 to 3 or -3 is kind of where we see these strategies kind of fitting in from that point of view. So that's going to be our tackle trading playbook. Again, you can find that here in the Trade Center. If you go, just click on Trade Center here, this will bring you to a what's up page at Tackle Trading, kind of, hey, what's our next show, our most recent post, our latest report, our most recent tweet. There is a watch list that you can build for yourself in here. There will be either a replay or a live showing to one of our YouTube shows. So whether it's our Monday night onboarding webinar, our Wednesday night Trade Masters webinar, our daily, halftime report, they'll always be seeing something in here. If it's live, it will be here. If we're live, it'll be in here. And if it's not, it will be a recording. It's usually the halftime report in here. A little bit of a short-term, calendar. Hey, what do the next couple of days look like? If you're taking any courses, it'll let you know where you left off so you can pick right back up where, instead of kind of dig around to where was I again. You will find the market skyline. This is just where you can find a link to the Finviz heat maps. You can take a look at the different, currents or commodities and indexes. Had some weird issues with TradingView this last couple of days here, these built-in charts. Right now, it's just showing that we've got, indices that's got all of our metals, our commodities, and so does everything else. So hopefully we'll get that ironed out. It's been a technical issue, I think, on an update, which is always fun. So you'll find a heat map, a link to the heat map from Finviz if you want to get that visual as far as what did they look like, what areas stood out this today in the market. There's a link to a news aggregator that's going to go through some of these big financial sites, the Times, CNBC, Wall Street Journal, Market Watch, and kind of just get our headline so I can just do an easy browse to see if anything kind of catches my attention and say, oh, hey, that's, that looks interesting. Let's go read that one. Right. So it's just going to save you some clicks and some bouncing around, kind of going through some of these big sites and getting the headlines in just kind of a nice, easy to digest manner. There's a link to the economic calendar, so you know what's on the schedule for today or for the week. Another link to our market report, which will be up here as well. A link to our compounding gains calculator to see the compounding, to really see the compounding power of money. A link to a chart if you ever need one. Another link to our glossary, to our search function, which is also this little magnifying glass up here. There is also a link to our trade journals in here. And you can get to our trade journals in two different ways. You can either just, the drop down on the Trade Center, but I always encourage people to go directly into the Trade Center and hit the trade journals this way, for the simple reason is this is where you'll have the kind of the walkthrough. Some people probably are really great with spreadsheets and don't need any help. Some of us aren't all that great with spreadsheets and need a little assistance. So the tutorial will be in here of how to use that spreadsheet. If you come into it this way, we'll just scroll down a little bit and my download will be right here. We also have our theta research tool where we can build and compare our different theta trades, our covered calls, our credit spreads, and what have you. We have our portfolio journal to help us stay organized, right? If we've got 27 trades going on that we've built over the last 6 months, it can be a little difficult staying on top of things, right? This portfolio journal will help you do that, I hope, at least. Our traditional trade journal is what you're seeing up here. Hey, today, I bought XYZ, I bought the stock at such and such price, I bought 100 shares. Eventually, I'll close it and get out of the trade. It'll do the rest of the work for me. Hey, what did you win, make or lose? How long were you in the trade? Give us very important information as far as how much does our average winning trade make us? How much does our average losing trade cost us? What's our winning percentage? How long are we in trades? Our average trade, the big one, are we bringing more in than we're sending out, right? Is our gross profit bigger than our gross loss? Your trade journal will make you and save you money if you use it the right way, right? Every trade that we make, it's data if we let it be. And if I take 20 breakout trades and I compare those trades, hey, what was working, what wasn't? I was too tight on my stop loss. I was too slow to get out. I was too fast to get out. I was too aggressive to get in. If I've got that data, I can make targeted adjustments based off of what I am seeing, not the theory of trading, but me personally and you personally. If you're not journaling your trades, I would strongly encourage you to start now. It will make and save you money over the course of time. I'm a big trade journal fan personally. So again, you can either catch them in the drop down, but if you are in the Trade Center, there is the link that will bring you right to this page and a little bit of assistance if you need some as far as getting started on that trading journal. Either way, once you select which whenever you want, hey, you want to download the portfolio journal, just select that guy and your download will be right here. So that's going to kind of wrap us up for that first and usually most time-consuming phase of our discussion. Hey, courses, blogs, the Trade Center, our clubhouse, however you want to use it is great, right? I always tell people you build your own tackle trading. People depending on your interests and where you are as a trader and what your time it looks like, right? I have a lot of time to hang around the markets, but maybe you don't, right? Don't be afraid to build your own tackle trading. With that said, let's get into that second phase, and that's things that you can do with others, also known as the schedule, right? It's just fits better what I'm going through my 1 2 3. I think let's start with the daily schedule. Every market morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, we're going to get together in our traders lounge. We're going to get together here for an hour in a webinar here at Tackle Trading. The information to get you in will be in here. It'll also be in the events calendars we'll talk about here in a bit, but you can get into it here. It's a place where our team can get together and get any help that they need. Maybe you've got a trade going and you want to get some thoughts on it. Maybe you got a trade set up and you want to get some other eyeballs on the technical pattern, see if you're a crazy person or if you are seeing it the right way. Maybe you're struggling with a concept. Maybe you're struggling with a particular strategy. Maybe you are great at getting in, but aren't so great at getting out, right? Who knows, right? But we all need some help sometimes. And our Traders Lounge allows us every market morning to very specifically help our team members out. So what we'll be talking about each morning in there is going to depend solely on our team and what they need us to do. That's every market morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. We do not record every Traders Lounge, but we do record snippets, and we will get them posted in here. If your schedule is such that you just can't join, if you're at work at 11 a.m. Eastern, each weekday, basically, but need us to go over something, let us know, send us an email. We'll do our best to accommodate you. We can get a recording. We can get the snippet in here to give you some help. So don't hesitate if you need something like that. You're always welcome. There's no limit on how often you can be in there. You'll meet some awesome traders. You'll get some good trade ideas. You might be one of the loudest members of the team. You might be one of the quietest members of the team. It's okay either way. So that is our Traders Lounge each market morning. So almost Monday through Friday, but we've got holidays like the upcoming Memorial weekend, right? So if the market's open, so is the lounge. Shortly after the lounge is over, we head over to our YouTube channel at 12:30 p.m. Eastern to do our halftime report. That's a live look in at the market, talk about, hey, what's going on in the market today? What's the news that's moving it? How is it impacting our chart? What does gold look like? What does the S&P look like? How about oil? How about Bitcoin? Stocks in the news? Really just going through that daily routine and that daily upkeep of staying on top and following along with the market. That is live at 12:30 p.m., about the halfway point of the trading day, right here on our YouTube channel. We certainly invite you to join us. Say hi if you're ever in there. Always fun to hang out and talk trading with members of the team. So every market day, we'll be with our team, whether it's over here at Tackle Trading in the lounge at 11 or over on our YouTube channel with the team at 12:30, talking markets, answering questions, going through this stuff with our team members. So that's kind of the daily, the daily schedule, if you will. Then we have our evening schedule, and we do things a little bit different with that. Let's start with our Tuesday night show, our coaches show. I would say that that's probably our flagship show. Personally, we're a couple of days, it's Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We're a couple of days into the trading week. Some new things that maybe weren't standing out over the weekend are starting to stand out. Maybe we're seeing, more strength in tech or whatever it might be. We can kind of talk about that through our market skyline. Hey, what's kind of standing out, one way or the other after a couple of days into the trading week. And then and this is what I love so much about it, is it allows us to take one of the very, very many concepts in trading, of which there's a ton, right? Whether it's, using moving averages, portfolio design, trading breakouts, when to choose a bull call instead of a long call, converting a long call into a bull call, right? Portfolio design, daily routine, prepping for earnings. I mean, there's a million things we can talk about. And the Coaches Show allows us to take one of those concepts that's topical to today's, market and have a nice in-depth discussion on that subject with our team members. It's really, really fun, to be able to sit down and have a good, deep conversation on these all of this stuff. The more we can talk about it, I think the more it's going to sink in. That's what I love about the Coaches Show. No two are quite the same, but it's always very, very trading relatable for sure. So that's Tuesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. That is recorded and archived. So if you can't make it live, or if you need to rewatch it, or if you want to watch a previous episode, you can find all of the archives directly in that link there. On Thursday nights, again at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we do our cash flow club. This one's going to be a little more narrowly focused specifically on those theta-based cash flow strategies, right? Covered calls, credit spreads, naked puts, condors, and what have you. We're going to talk a lot about building, going to talk a lot about managing those type of trades over in that cash flow club. And again, just like the coaches show, it is recorded and archived so you can fit it into your schedule however you need to, and don't ever be afraid to go back and watch previous episodes if it's on a subject that interests you. So that's Thursday. On Monday nights, I do this webinar here just to kind of walk people who are maybe new to tackle trading or who are looking at tackle trading and kind of want to know a little bit more about us, kind of take them through what we're doing over here. I do that on Monday nights. We typically will meet up with one of the members of our mastermind groups, our Tackle 25, our Step System, our Condors, our Bear Market, over here at Tackle Trading as well on Monday nights. That tends to be what the schedule looks like as far as that goes. On Wednesday night, we do a couple of things. We do here on our YouTube channel at 7 Eastern, we do our Trade Masters webinar. That's a couple of the coaches will bring 5 trade setups and trade ideas to the community and to Coach Mark, who is the judge, I guess, in that show. We'll bounce those trade ideas off of one another, round with the members of our team, and then at the end of the day, Mark will declare a winner. Some would argue very arbitrarily. I think most would. But that's okay. It's a heck of a lot of fun to be able to hang out with other traders and share your ideas and talk through what you're seeing and why you're seeing it and how come you like it. So just a way that we can bounce ideas and talk trading with our team. That's live here on YouTube Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then shortly after that, I'm going to hop over into our trade center, into our events calendar for this part of our discussion here. Shortly after that show is over, at 8:30 Eastern, we head over here to Tackle Trading. We get together in our Traders Lounge Labs edition, and that's where we can go into further detail, answering any questions or anything like that on any of the trade setups that were brought up in that Trade Masters webinar. So maybe you liked a trade setup and wanted to compare a bull call versus a bull put on it, right? Just as an example. So, who knows exactly, what we'll need. But again, we want to have a place where we can discuss in depth with our team. And that's exactly what we're doing here in the Traders Lounge on Wednesday nights at 8:30 Eastern, talking in more detail and answering any particular questions folks might have on some of the ideas that they were that were shared in our Trade Masters webinar. So kind of a 2-pack going on Monday nights, again, 7 Eastern, our Trade Masters here on YouTube, and then 8:30 Eastern back on Tackle Trading, going through our Traders Lounge, talking more about that stuff. If you are ever trying to get into anything, this is a great place to do it. This events calendar, I know it's not there, but if I want to make sure I get into that lounge or that Labs Lounge on Wednesday night, I'll just click it here. It'll get me the info. Obviously, it's not Wednesday at 8:30 right now, but if it was or it was approaching, I could get into that webinar. So it's an easy place to be able to get into anything that you're looking to do. We also have a couple of Mind of a Traders, which Coach Mark does for us. He does 2 different ones, and it's definitely easier to find them here in the events calendar since there is 2. He does on Fridays at 3 Eastern, an hour before the bell and the close of the market for the week. He does it at the closing bell. He presents his commodity report live. Coach Mark does the commodity report for us. We'll talk a little bit more about that here in a few. He presents that live to the team, and then it's just hey, let's talk trading. Let's trade. Let's bounce ideas around with one another. Let's answer questions. Let's put our heads together and come up with some stuff, right? So just another fun place to be able to hang out with the team, ask any questions that you might have, bounce any ideas. Because hey, listen, I'm not afraid to steal anybody's trade idea and call it my own. So it's always fun to be able to do that. So that's on Fridays at 3 p.m. Eastern. And then on Sunday nights at 8:30 Eastern, he also does his weekend prep class, where we're a few hours into the futures open, right? Has anything changed? Is anything standing out? Going into early part of the week, And again, hey, let's talk ideas. Let's talk, let's answer questions. Let's just hang out and make sure that our team is getting the help that they may need, whatever that might be. So the mind of a trader is two different things. It can be a little bit confusing, to me at least. If you just try to click on this one, but if you come into the events calendar and it's Friday, Mark is getting ready to close, and I want to join in, easy place to get in with Coach Mark. As I mentioned earlier, we also have a very strong team of female traders with us here at Tackle Trading. Coach M and the gang get together about once a month in their Women in Trading Mastermind group. They just had one this past week. I don't get to go, but that is okay. If you are a woman in trading, or if you know a woman in trading, I would definitely encourage you to hook them up with Coach M and the rest of the awesome gals over in the Women in Trading Mastermind group. We'll always promote that. It tends to be towards the end of the month when we do that, but we'll always let you know ahead of time. We'll always promote it so we can make sure our team is aware of it. But it does tend to be towards the end of the month as a general rule. I know Am, and I know the rest of the team, and I don't exactly know what's happening there, but I know they're getting some good work done. I know they're having a good time doing it. So if you are a woman in trading, I would definitely take some time and hang out with the awesome women of Tackle Trading over in that Women in Trading Mastermind group. So that's kind of what the schedule is going to look like. As a general rule, I think you can break it down, maybe oversimplify it a little bit, but break it down like this. The lounge is for questions, for Q&A. Hey, I need some help with whatever it is, right? So it's really for you. It's really for our team, where we'll talk about what you need us to talk about in that lounge. So that's kind of where we can, answer, individual specific questions. Our halftime report is where we can go through that daily routine. And then our evening shows are where we can kind of put on the teaching hat a little bit and do, take deeper dives into this stuff, teach people, hey, maybe you've never done a call ratio back spread. Wouldn't it be cool if you knew exactly what it was and how to do it, right? Kind of beginning to end. So we get to, really put the teaching hat on, if you will, in our evening shows. And that's probably oversimplifying it a little bit, but, maybe an easy way to kind of keep it, keep track of it in your mind as you kind of get to know us a little bit more. So that's what the schedule is going to look like. I hope that explained that well for you, and I hope to see you in some of those shows. Lastly, we have our weekend reports. On Friday, we all get together, all the coaches here at Tackle Trading. We all get together, we talk markets, our read of the markets, this different sectors, different commodities, different currency pairs, trade setups that we're following going into the upcoming week. And out of that, what we call our scouting report meeting, comes our weekend reports. That's going to be the Tackle newsletter, the stock, option, commodity, and forex report. We get these delivered to the team by Saturday afternoon, so they have plenty of time to go through any or all of them before the market opens back up. Our Tackle newsletter is where we're starting at the top of the market, right? That is a fundamental belief here at Tackle Trading, as you take that top-down approach, and that's really exactly what we're doing over here in the Tackle newsletter, talking about, hey, what happened, this past week? What's the news and the storylines that are moving the market right now? Right? What does the economic calendar look like going into the upcoming week? Anything that we might want to keep an eye out for? Of course, we'll always have a video kind of talking you through this stuff, because sometimes it's a lot easier to talk it than type it. At least for me, it is. So where the S&P 500 is and kind of how we're watching it going into the upcoming week. Same with the NASDAQ. You'll find the Arkham high-low indicator in here, and this is Coach Gino's indicator, his personal indicator. What it does is it looks at over 8,000 stocks. So it looks at the internals of the market and sees, hey, are we seeing, of all of these stocks, are we seeing stocks that are putting in new highs, or are we seeing stocks that are putting in new lows? We've seen a little bit of weakness for the first time in a while on the Arkham high-low indicator. And that's it kind of in a nutshell. Just to really take a good look at the internal. So that's really what we're doing there. You'll see the seasonality chart in here. Hey, what does the market do historically speaking this time of year, right? We're getting into the summer chop, right? And from a historical perspective, usually in the summer, you see a lot of back and forth, but you don't really go anywhere. Does that mean it'll do that again this year? I wish I knew that. I would tell you, and have a real easy summer. So I don't know that, but I do know based off of the historical price action of the broad market, that is what the most likely thing to happen based on history. Just like historically speaking, April is really strong. Historically speaking, the fourth quarter is really strong. We can really get a lot of value out of the historical data. We just don't want to overdo it, right? I'm not going to just do nothing for the summer because normally it chops, right? I'm not going to overvalue it by any means, but I do think it's very valuable to know how the market tends to perform this time of year, whatever time of year it might be. What sectors tend to perform the strongest during each month, right? So we're in May. Typically speaking, again, from a historical perspective, consumer staples and healthcare tend to be the strongest sectors. Relatively speaking, financials and discretionary tend to be the weakest. Doesn't mean, again, we don't want to overdo it. Doesn't mean it'll happen. Just because discretionary is the weakest doesn't mean it has to necessarily do bad, right? But it is, again, helpful to know that history of these different sectors and the performance. We rank the sectors each, as well as the broad market, each week. And that's what you're seeing here. We'll talk you through the thought process in the video, but just to kind of understand the visual a little bit better, you can kind of see it's a football field, right? And between the 40s, if you're a football fan, when you're between the 40s, that's when you can go fill up your drink or something, right? So, but once we get into the 40 to 20 territory, we're starting to see some good movement, right? Once we get into the red zone, we think, you know what, we're probably going to score some points here, hopefully a touchdown, but at least a field goal attempt, right? And then of course the end zone. Now we're not super aggressive here at Tackle Trading, so it's not common at all. As a matter of fact, it's very rare, and you may very well never see it, that we would put an entire sector or an entire market into the end zone or into that plus or minus 3 territory. That is just not who we are. As a team here at Tackle Trading, it's not uncommon at all for me to have a stock at a plus or a minus 3, but I never personally, I can only speak for myself, I never have an entire sector that aggressively ranked personally, and I think the other coaches would echo that sentiment to at least some degree as well. But it allows us to kind of let you know, hey, where are we seeing the strength? What sectors are we liking the best? What sectors are we liking a little bit more than we did last week, a little bit less than last week? What are we on right now? We're overall in a pretty bullish market, right? But when there's separate markets, there's some sectors are bearish and some are very bullish or what have you. So just let you know kind of how we're reading the different sectors. We go through every stock in these sector ETFs as we're giving these rankings, and that's kind of how we're putting them together. Again, we can kind of talk you through exactly kind of why we landed where we landed, why we downgraded materials a little bit this week in the video. Doesn't mean we don't like it, just downgraded it a little bit, right? So that's going to be the sector side of things. There's going to be a little bit of information based off of how those sectors are built, right? So it's not everything is equal, right? So think about tech, for example. Tech is 25% of the S&P 500, whereas real estate is 2.5%, roughly speaking, right? And so a little bit of a right up there as far as how these things are weighted and built. In there. Another friendly reminder to match the strategy to the read of the situation, right? There's a pre-built scanner in here. If a particular area has caught your attention, you say, what, I kind of like an energy, would like to, do a quick scan for that. We can. I'll just open this in a new tab really quick. This will take you to a pre-built FinViz scanner. And this is going to be a list of what I consider trader-friendly stocks. And what I mean by that is they have good liquidity, so it's very easy to trade shares. They are optionable, so at least in theory, I can trade the options on them. I always want to double check that liquidity on the company's option chain, right? I don't want to get stuck in an illiquid option by any means, but they're optionable, and I would say as a whole, you can do lots of things with options on the group as a whole. On any given one, I might not be comfortable trading the options. That's okay. I can trade the shares of the stock. So that's what I mean, at least when I say trader friendly. If I like something in here, I'm not going to have a hard time putting together a trade on it, whether it's through shares or through options, one way or the other. I will be able to build a trade that I would feel comfortable with at least. just give me a bird's eye view, right? I can kind of see, is anything standing out here? Hey, there's a, potential double top cup and handle developing over here on ExxonMobil, right? Big, we can even do a line for us here. Got a resistance level, a big cup that's formed, hit resistance, have come back, and at least as right now, have put in a higher low. Maybe, we rally up into that resistance, developing a cup and handle, and I get a little breakout play. That's probably not going to happen tomorrow, if it happens at all. But just an easy way for me to kind of scan through some things and see if there's anything that really stands out, is worth taking a closer look at. Obviously, I wouldn't try to put together a trade on these little tiny charts, but I can say, you know what? Kind of like that, it's probably like a week and a half, 2 weeks away if it does happen, but I kind of would like to have Exxon on my radar because I could see a scenario where this cup and handle does come to fruition. I could see a scenario maybe where I'd look to do a scaling in technique if I liked what I saw. So just an easy way to be able to quickly look at a lot of stocks in a particular area. If one catches your attention, you can actually go do some real technical analysis in your charting platform. But if I don't like something, XEC, they had some merger news here today. I don't like them. Should I or shouldn't I? That's really beside the point, right? I'm not going to do anything with them. I know me. So, I can tell that I'm not interested in putting any more time into it. But maybe I like the, maybe little breakout that's developing on Williams, or the cup and handle potentially that's developing on Exxon. So there will be one of those for each of the different sectors. So if you're ever looking for a particular, some stocks in a particular area, that can be a very easy way to find some. And again, we'll talk you through all of this stuff in that video. Coach Cody generally does our Forex report for us, where he can highlight the trade setups in the major currency pairs, talk about the economic calendar coming up, and the news that we might want to keep an eye out for if we're trading over in the currency market that can affect those pairs. He does a lot of teaching in there as well. I know a lot of team members went from never trading Forex to trading Forex pretty much just by joining Coach Cody each week in the Forex report. He does a great job teaching our team how to get into the Forex market if that's something that they are interested in. As I mentioned earlier, Coach Mark does our commodity report for us. He does present that to the team in his Friday webinar at 3 o'clock, but it'll also be in here where he can talk about both the technicals and the fundamentals of the commodities market. Hey, what's going on behind the scenes with gold and oil and copper and what have you. Does a great job. Even if you're not trading in the futures market, you're not trading gold futures or anything like that, there are a lot of things that we can do through the equity and options market to take advantage of movement in commodity prices. There's gold ETFs, right? GLD, for example, GDX, gold miner ETF. There's gold companies, Barrick Gold. There's proxy companies like something like copper that doesn't really have a great optionable, at least that I'm aware of, a great optionable ETF. FCX tends to mirror the price of copper. So there are going to be a lot of things that we can do through the stock and options market to take advantage of movement or lack thereof in commodity prices. So even if you're not a big fan or interested or ready to trade over in the futures market, I would definitely join Coach Mark in his commodity report, because there's a lot of things that we can do. That's generally my style personally, is to trade what's going on in the commodities market through the equities market. That's my personal preference, at least. Then we have our stock and options report. They're going to be built fairly similar to one another. Obviously, they're going to differ a little bit, things in the stock report and things in the option report, right? Primarily this way. In the options report, everything in the option report has options that we would feel comfortable as a team trading, whereas something in the stock report, it might not have great options, or it might be, just a really low price on a directional trade. It just might be tough to pull off an option trade. There could be a lot of reasons why one thing might be on the stock versus the option report. But one definite thing that will happen sometimes is it'll be put on the stock report because the options just aren't there. If maybe that doesn't have options at all, or maybe it does, but they're so illiquid that we would never even consider trading it, but we like the trade setup. So the option report is going to be, have that in mind. Stock report, as long as the stock liquidity is there, we're good to go. Now, if you want to trade an option strategy on something you find in the stock report, there's no harm in checking the liquidity on that option chain, right? And if you would feel comfortable trading it, great. If not, cool, right? Either way, you can always double check and see if you'd be comfortable doing it, though. Nothing at all wrong with that. Because of the two different vehicles, stock and options. Over in the stock report, we're going to talk a lot more really on the technicals, right? On the chart pattern, stop loss, entry, ideas, things like that. Over in the option report, we're going to talk a lot more about those things are still equally as important in the options market for sure. We're going to talk a lot more about strategy selection. Why would choose this week, Tyler did write a little bit on why we choose a bull call versus a bull put. What would be some determining factors that would sway me one way or another. So there will be more talk about strategy selection and a little less talk about the chart in the option report. Over in the stock report, we don't have those problems or questions, right? Hey, I can either buy the stock, sell the stock short, or do nothing. Those are my only three options, right? So we are going to talk a little bit more about the technical side. In any case, we'll have a video going over all of it with you. We'll also share both our bullish and our bearish watch list. These are going to be swing trade based setups, unless we note otherwise. And sometimes we will find what we consider a good position trade idea that we want to share with the team. But as a general rule and as a whole, this is a swing traders list, a watch list, where we can kind of, hey, this is what we're looking for. Car Gurus, just for example, we had a big pop on earnings. We've got a consolidation period. If we could break out of that consolidation period, I would at least personally expect, the most likely thing, I don't know the future, but I think the most likely thing is we would see continued price appreciation. But so we can kind of share these ideas with you in that video. You're not going to like them all, and that's fine, right? You'll probably really like some setups and not really like some other ones. And that's perfectly reasonable. There's nothing wrong with that. We want to be able to share trade ideas with our team each week, though, whether it's, for stock trades, option trades, currency trades, commodity trades, all of the above, or whatever you personally like to trade. We always want to make sure we can share ideas with our team each and every week. So we'll always have a watch list in these different areas. We can kind of talk you through kind of our thought process. We'll also use it as a little bit of an opportunity to teach, right? And share some more, general ideas and stuff like that. A couple of quick things here. Since I'm on Car Gurus here, we'll just use them. This is your trend line tool. These are the trading view charts that are built in. We've seen them a few times, right? They're being a little bit wonky if you try more than one list, but that's okay. We'll get that ironed out. Your trend line tool is going to be this guy right here. So you can either draw, horizontal, trend, support resistance. If applicable, you can draw, trend lines as well. If you don't need them, you can just left click it, hit that trash bin, and that'll get rid of that for you. Your time frame is right here. The default is set to a daily chart, but if you wanted to take a look at the weekly, hey, is there anything here that I might want to keep an eye out for? Hey, 32, that really stands out from a targeting point of view, because that was a big pivot point, right? That was a big turning point, back here. We were on a good run. We kissed that. I know I'm approximately 32, I should say, and it was kind of over for a while, right? So maybe I want to go look at the intraday, right? See if there's an intraday entry I'd be interested in building on the hourly chart or what have you. So your time, you can switch the time. This will drop down right here. If you prefer bar to candlestick, not many people do anymore, but that doesn't mean not it. Some people probably still do. I don't, but you can change that over there. You can add any indicators, just smacking that FX indicators there. It will not save your indicators. So if I add, say, the average true range and leave the page, come back later, it'll be gone. Just so you know, if you add 3 or 4 indicators, that's fine. It'll add them for all of the watch lists, all the stocks in the list while you're here. But if you leave the page and come back, they will disappear. So it will not save. Just a heads up there. You can hold the left mouse button down and zoom up or zoom down to move your indicator as you need to do so. Scrolling up within the chart will zoom in. Scrolling down will zoom out. You can hold the left mouse button down over in these dollar amounts, and then you can scrunch it down or scrunch it up as you need to. Right? If you hold your left mouse button down inside the body of the chart, you can also do this right here. So you can get the chart set up the way you'd like to do so. If you want a little more room for the chart, you can hit this button right here. That's that'll hide the watch list. Hit it again, it'll bring the watch list back. So it can give us a little bit more room on the chart. You will also have this guy right here is where you can build out a trade. So my entry, let's just, we'll not get too crazy, but let's say my entry here is 29.41. That's where I want to get in. My target is that line that I drew there, right? And you may or may not agree with this, and that's okay either way. My stop loss would be here at such and such price, below today's low or what have you, and it'll let me know what the risk to reward on this trade is. I'm risking $1 to get $2.27 based off of the numbers that we're kind of using a little quickly here, but I hope you can kind of see how that works. It really does help, at me at least, because I don't have to do that math. Is my risk to reward there, or is it not there? You can do the same thing on the bearish side as well. If I want to do a short, whoops, let's come in here. Say I want to prep a short trade here on Bumble. So let's take out these lows here. That's where I'd get in. Let's scrunch this down so I can see it. Let's zoom in a little bit. I've got a target in mind of such and such price. I'd have my stop loss up here above this little base, and I can see that I'm risking $1 to get $2.92. So I always like to show people this because I use it a lot, and it saves me a ton of time. If I'm ready to get rid of it again, I'll just left click it and I can put it in the trash. So just a couple of things that you can do. There are other things, but just a couple of the big things that you can do with these built-in charts over here at TradingView. You may not use them a lot, but you probably will use them at least the first time you go through the list, right? And you may, incorporate this as part of your routine. Just do a quick look. Barry, am I interested? Weren't able to break out here today, but maybe we can build a higher low and break out here tomorrow. Or maybe you don't like it anymore. Maybe Bud's just not your cup of I guess, beer in this particular case. Car Gurus hadn't broken through that resistance level. Saw some upward movement on CC. So I can just very quickly and easily kind of go through and see if there's anything that I would like to set up a potential trade on, right? So I would expect that you'll probably do most of your charting over in your own charting platform, but I guess that's up to you to decide. Either way, each week we want to make sure we're sharing ideas with our team in areas that they might be trading. It's okay to like what you like. It's okay to not like what you like, right? Nobody's ever going to, force me to make a trade. If I don't want to take that trade, I just won't take the trade, right? I think a lot of us here at Tactical Trading will take our favorite trade setups and add them to our personal watch lists and leave the rest and whichever one the best, who's using those ones, right? I know some people use all of them. It's really, again, kind of up to you, but we want to make sure that we're highlighting some attractive technical trade setups in areas in the market that you might be trading each and every week. So that's going to be our reports. Again, you can expect these delivered to you by Saturday afternoon, so you have time to get through them before the market opens back up. Really quickly here, as we get ready to wrap up, our tackle today is our daily email. If you don't get it and would like to, you can sign up for it just by clicking on Tackle Today. You can sign up and we'll get that delivered to you each morning. We also will post that in directly in this Tackle Today link here. It will get to your inbox faster than will be posted, I would say. But if you'd prefer to just read it here, that is okay as well. You can do that. We are active on all of the more major social media platforms, right? The LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube's. Twitter is a great place to, share interesting chart setups that, I find or the team finds or another coach finds. A great place to share upcoming earnings and, movers and what's going on at Tackle Trading. We have a Facebook group. If you're a Facebook user and want to talk trading with other members of Team Tackle, we are active over there. On our YouTube channel, in addition to all the stuff that we do live, we have lots of other content as well. We have a lot of how-tos, a lot of walkthroughs, a lot of what-ares. We have an entire playlist on Thinkorswim tutorials, and we're always looking to add more content to our YouTube channel. If you ever need anything, don't hesitate to send us a team at tackletrading.com. We're always happy to help our team out. Don't feel like it's a burden. That's what we're here for. So if you're looking for something, don't know where to go next, whatever it might be, don't be afraid to send us an email. Each week, I'm going to come back over to the Trade Center because there's a link directly to Trading Justice right here. Each week, Matt, Mark, and Tim do the Trading Justice podcast. It's a great little listen where they can talk about what's going on in the market, as well as have lots of different conversations regarding trading, investing, and economics. It's very informative and a lot of fun to listen to. Just like the huddle, you can find that on all of the major podcast providers, but you can listen to it directly over on tradingjustice.com as well. There is also a very nice monthly newsletter over at tradingjustice.com that's very much worth reading each month as well. So whether it's the TJ podcast or the Trading Justice newsletter, our friends over at Trading Justice is a great place to get a little bit more information on trading. And again, that's just tradingjustice.com, but this link will take you right over there as well. Ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for this evening, but I certainly appreciate everybody who took some time to check in and look into tackle trading. I hope that this explained it well for you, got you an idea of what we're doing over here, what we're about, when we're doing stuff, all that good stuff. I'll be certainly looking forward to seeing you again, whether it's on YouTube, on Twitter, in the clubhouse, and one of our shows. I certainly hope this is not goodbye. Hope it's just good night. We always have a standing offer of a 15-day free trial. So if you are, interested in tackle trading, want to kind of see what we're doing on the back end, we'll get that link in the description. It's in the description of any YouTube video that we have here at Tackle Trading. We can get you hooked up with the free 15-day trial so you can see what we do over here. Would love to have you. If you've joined us already, certainly welcome you to the team. Either way, it has been my pleasure. Spend a little bit of time with you. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday night. Have a great upcoming Memorial Day weekend. And I'll be looking forward to seeing you somewhere. I'm not sure where, but hopefully somewhere in the very near future. But until then, thank you so much for your time. Welcome to Team Tackle. Great to have you with us, and I will see you soon. Good night, everyone.